This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Canine Crew, it's time to just sell the damn thing. Doberman Dan is revealing his contrarian formula for getting a rush of new customers, building your business faster, and making the highest possible profits. Go to justsellthedamnthing.com to get your copy today.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
You ever read any Ayn Rand, JR?
Yeah, a little bit. There was one that you recommended. I forgot what the name of that one was that I'm still reading. And then like Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, Atlas Shrugged, big, like doorstop, thick book. You probably talk about the other one I probably talked about is The Fountainhead, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm still reading that one. I do like a lot of the stuff in there.
So you can, if you want to, you can cheat and watch the movie. They made a movie out of it in the 40s with starring Cary Grant, I believe it was.
Oh, I'll check on Amazon.
I wasn't, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't as good as the book. For some reason, no movie can be as good as my imagination, I guess, but something in, so the main character, the protagonist, Howard Rourke, something in there really resonated with me. I think the second time I read it, and that was, so one of his friends he's an architect, all right. And one of his friends who's a successful architect, Howard Rourke, is struggling because he's got a vision. He knows his work is worth a lot and it's new and it's cutting edge and it's creative and it's breakthrough, but he's just not getting much traction from anybody. They all want the tried and true, the standard, the accepted, the same old, and his is not. His is the new. And so his friend's successful when he shows up at his office. It's like, dude, why don't you just, take this gig that they're offering and just compromise your ideals and take the money and just do the work. It's just a gig. It's just for money. And he's like, no, I refuse to do that. And then he gives a great speech about it. And his friend asks, where's your watch? And he goes, I had to pawn it. So this guy chose to pawn his watch and he can't pay the bills and he's not going to make it. He can't make ends meet. And he chose to do all that instead of doing what these people wanted him to do, which was compromise his integrity, compromise his ideals by selling his intellectual property for less than he knew it was worth, or changing his ideal, his vision to make it comfortable for them, to fit into their comfort zone. He chose to go broke and have to sell his belongings than to compromise his ideals. So let's chat a little bit, shall we, about something I learned while whoring out my mind to the highest bidder, a.k.a. being a freelance copywriter. And here's one of the valuable lessons I learned. Until you value yourself, you can't expect others to. You see, there's a neato little principle that's always proven true. The world around you reflects the world within you. When you set a high value on yourself, that's what you'll receive. You set a low value and, well, you know what happens. We were just talking about one of my friends who has done that, Jonathan, right before the red light came on. So that's what happens. Like, for example, okay, we'll stick with the copywriting example because this was I learned that lesson while whoring out my mind as a freelancer, okay? Let's say you're a copywriter. If you're not a copywriter, just fill in the blanks. Let's say you're a fill in the blanks, okay? And you decide your fee is X number of dollars, but somebody offers you a gig for half that amount. Or by the way, like brief sidetrack here, people always promise to pay you on the back end.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, when I get results, then I'll pay you from that, or I'll pay you a percent of my results. That is the biggest lie in the world. By the way, try that technique with like some badass New York attorney, like the dude who defended OJ. Try that with him. Well, if we win this double homicide case with 50 witnesses that are all nuns that were on a bus and witnessed me killing those two people. That if we win, then I'll pay you. Try that approach with one of those attorneys. It's that promise to pay you on the back end. Biggest lie in the world. They never pay you future income that they promise. Like, it's so easy to promise future income. Money you don't have, it's so easy to promise that. Well, I don't have it now, but when I do have it, I'll pay you, 10% or whatever.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for hamburger today.
It's right. It's the same pitch, right? So I've talked to freelancers. This is, I'm sorry, a brief sidetrack, but it's important. I've talked to freelancers, coaches, consultant copywriters who've been doing this for 3 decades. And they've all told me the same thing. Like, nobody pays promised future income. One guy who's really well known in this space said, yep, 30 years writing copy, always being promised royalties. Only one client in 30 years has paid it. In my case,
wow.
I guess maybe I have a tiny bit better average. Nobody has ever paid back end profits they promised, except Agora Financial, just the finest people on planet Earth you could work with, and Primal Health. Again, some damn fine people. Only those 2 clients have ever paid promised back end money. Anyway, so let's go back. All right. So you ask for X number of dollars. Somebody offers you a gig for half that amount. Can't do that. They start grinding you down. I can do half that. How about, what if you write for half of that? And which is usually accompanied by, and I'll pay you a future royalty of blah, blah, bullshit. Or, and if it works out, you'll just have plenty of more work coming in. Bullshit also.
Yes, sir.
So, but let's say you take the gig. If you take the gig, you're saying your true value is half the amount you originally said. And what you immediately wind up doing is you dilute your value in the marketplace. If you get a lower offer like that, or some variation thereof, any variation of, yes, let me write you a check for what you just asked for, any variation thereof, but you stick to your guns and you demand your true value, guess what happens?
You get paid?
You'll get it.
Shocking.
It's like Harrison Ford said. He said, they asked, my God, how do you get so much money for those roles? He said, I ask for what I want. They pay it. It's that simple. And it is that simple. Because you see, when you lower your value, when you lower your value, you feel like you did something for nothing. And that lowers your self-worth, which lowers your dignity. Instead, do this. So establish your true value in your heart and mind. And guess what happens? You will watch as the world responds accordingly. It's as simple as that. What has been your experience, JR?
As you're talking about this, I got this spreadsheet in my mind that Rachel or Cupcake was showing me the other day, where we joined this mastermind, invested in ourselves, and realized we were undercharging for our service. And that was what they beat into our head. And that was hard for us to swallow because we thought we were being fair, but we really weren't making any money. But as we hired these consultants, put into place what they told us, which was double our prices and then take them back up another like 25% to where we are now, we watched our income just go way, way up. And our belief in what we do and the pride we take in our work and the innovation that we bring to our clients, it's all because we had that higher self-worth and charged it and got paid what we asked.
Very interesting. Pretty wild stuff. Took me a long time to figure that out. So I've got, sometimes it still feels a little silly to hear this coming out of my mouth. So I've become famous granted, okay, I'm famous in a teeny tiny, super narrow, tiny little sliver of a niche in this online marketing world and especially copywriting. I've become famous in that. I love it when people on podcasts introduce me as a living legend.
Living legend.
I swear to you, that living legend, that's not in my bio notes, because I'd have to, if I were to put something in my bio about that, I'd be legend in his own mind. But
yeah,
I love it when people introduce me as a living legend. So here's the thing about that. So yes, I've developed fame, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, in my space. I'm recognized as an expert. I call it celebrity expert positioning. I did a lot of things by pure dumb luck that I just stumbled into by just making constant forward motion, but not knowing what the hell I was doing, just continuing to move forward or fall forward, that helped in this getting this celebrity expert positioning. A lot of it was by observation of others. For example, Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, and adapting what they've done to me and meticulously engineering several components to work together synergistically, this podcast being one of them, to help further and spread and grow this celebrity expert status I have. All these different components and all this stuff and all the publishing I've done, all working together to make me a celebrity expert who can command high fees, much higher than most other copywriters because of my status. The fact of the matter is, the people who get paid significantly more for what they do is mostly because they have a higher status of the other doers of their thing, I should say. So you get paid way more for who you are than for what you do. I recently started teaching the celebrity expert system to other high value service providers like coaches, consultants, copywriters, financial professionals, certain medical professionals, things like that. Any high value service. I started teaching my system and adapting my system to those high value service providers. And if you want more info about that, it's at celebrityexpertsystem.com. And here's the thing, here's the biggest thing I had to overcome. And here's the biggest thing I have to help others overcome is establishing their value in the marketplace. And like, well, wait a minute, all the other nameless, faceless doers of my thing who are all commodities and there's nothing unique about them. They're just this army of robot clones who are fill in the blanks with whatever it is you do. Well, they do it this way. And, the accepted fee levels are this. When we're talking about a super high value service, like a wealth manager, certain medical professionals, coaches, consultants, like what you do, Jonathan, something that just has an enormous return on investment. The biggest issue I have to deal with is helping people get their value straight in their own heads. That is like step one, because wherever you value yourself, the results that are produced on the outside are a direct reflection upon that. And there is no way to overcome it. There's no way to fake it. There's no way to bullshit your way through it. There's just no way. You reap what you sow. When those are the thoughts being reaped inside, then the results on the outside, it's just inevitable. You can't help it. So you got to establish your value in the marketplace internally first and stick to your guns, man. You got to be Howard Rourke, Well, I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to compromise my vision. I'm not going to accept less than I know I am worth. Okay, so I got to hawk my Rolex. Well, okay, I'm going to go hawk my Rolex or Timex even. Okay, I'm going to go hawk my Timex and get $2. Well, $2, that pays for a couple tacos at Taco Bell. I'll eat today,
Yay.
It's when you have that belief in yourself and that integrity, you will refuse to compromise your ideals. You will refuse to compromise your vision. All the people who try to grind you down on your fees, when you stand your ground and you know deep inside in your heart and mind what your true worth is, then the world will treat you accordingly. You dig?
I dig. Good stuff, Dan. So another Off the Chain show is in the can. We'll be back in your earbuds next time. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye-bye, lard ass.
Hope you enjoyed today's show. K9 Crew got a special treat for you, what we are affectionately referring to as the Off the Chain Hotline. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Ask questions. We don't care. Just call 321-424-6043 and give us a piece of your mind.
This is the podcastfactory.com.